transforming lives.
Inspiring stories from educators worldwide.
Impact happening worldwide. Your transformation starts here.
All right. Welcome to Transforming Lives podcast. I'm your host, Tony Kimble, and we're just having candid conversations to spotlight educational leaders across our nation. It's amazing how fast things are going right now. When we talk about 50 educators from 50 states, it's a journey. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what type of vehicle I'm in right now. I don't know if I'm in a car, a jet, or what right now. But when I tell you we are going to I'm going to different states. On Thursday, I was in Colorado listening to Dr. Tolbert, and just this whole idea of just having empathy. When you talk about leading schools, when you talk about having the ability to reach others beyond yourself, that's the conversation. Go ahead and check her out on YouTube. But today, I'm missing in Mississippi. My neighboring state is Alabama. And when I tell you this gentleman, I don't know how we came across each other. It was on LinkedIn, and I just happened to come across, and you just make this, you see someone, you reach out, you don't necessarily know the story, but you reach out to them. And, with this track of reaching out to individual, you have two options. You got a yes or a no. I was elated when my next guest said yes. And from there, I'm excited about today's conversation. My next guest, when you think about, educational leader, he has 24 years of experience shaping young minds and communities. Dr. Moore currently serves as the principal of Springville High School and brings a passion for leadership, character education, and student success. From coaching basketball to leading schools, his journey is marked by dedication and growth. He has his doctoral degree from Stanford University and a Hopewell Fellowship. Dr. Moore continues to inspire through professional development, principal symposiums, character conferences. Now, join us as we dive into this history of transformation and education. I'm going to bring up my next guest, Dr. Moore. Dr. Moore, how are you doing? Welcome to Transforming Live.
Well, man, good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, brother. I'm very excited about it.
Absolutely. Usually I start out, and this is unique because you're in Alabama. I'm in Mississippi. I asked, how is the weather going? How's the weather in Alabama?
It's Alabama. It's a roller coaster. It's sunny in the morning. It's cold at night. Ice is on the way. Next week, then it'll probably get to back to 65 in about 2 weeks. So ride the roller coaster, baby. Right. We up and down. We up and down.
That's the amazing thing about the weather here. And it seems to be something that happens in the Southeast. It's that weather. I don't know what's going on with the weather. So, when I think about it, even in our brief pre-call, I just feel your energy. It's that coach. I don't know if I need to go and stretch and shoot one shot. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Or what? So I want to kind of start this out by asking you this question. When we talk about transformation, you're leading something great there in Alabama. What has been the most significant transformation you've led in maybe in your school or the district, which sparked change?
I think the first most significant transformation was myself. I had to realize my direction for what I wanted for a school and as a leader. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that starts with a self-evaluation. Like, where am I? What is my purpose? Am I truly living and aligned with his will for my life? And is this more for success and glory, or is it for his purpose and true will of helping children and people be the best people that they can be? So first I had to look inward and transform and make sure I was going to be a model for what I wanted others to be. Then from that point forward, you're able to really focus on, like at Springville High School, we have a big character focus. And, it's just, we want to be the best versions of ourselves every day. At our school, we have kids who some want to go to college, some want to go in the workforce, some want to go in the military, some are still trying to decide their path. But even on that journey, we all can agree that we all can be good people. So, we have a transformation focus on, it's not about all the other things. It's about who we are as people. And everybody here is going to strive to be a good person, and that became our foundational platform as far as we're going to transform our school, our culture, and our direction based on building a platform of being a school of great people, a community of great people. And those things become almost the foundation of fundamentals to be successful, and I think that has caught on throughout. And I kind of caught on through a character organization called Hope Institute at Sanford University, where I was working on my doctoral program. But it helped me realize that I had to focus on being a good person myself. If I could, well, how can you expect that from anyone else if you cannot first see that within yourself?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's a home run right there, because if you're talking about change, if you're talking about transformation out here, it has to start in here. That's good. So, you spoke about, your school, you spoke about yourself. So this whole idea of character, what are some of these key principles or values that are guiding your decision making as a leader?
The same thing you mentioned earlier, being a coach, being a former athlete, what are those fundamentals? What are those things that guide when you look at character? Are you a person of integrity? You know what I'm saying? What, kind of your character strength there? How are you're a man of ethics? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're a man of strong belief of doing things a certain way for people. And I think that's part of that leadership piece and that character piece also is I understand what we have to do to lead our building and what the success we want to have within it. But how can I help people go along the way with us? What is the situation that's taking place, but how's it going to impact people? As a leader, we can make a decision for one person and that could help that one person, but how many people will it hurt on the backside of that? There's always a ripple effect. So you have to look at beyond the scope of just this is this situation, or this is my leadership decision, or this is the direction we want to go. But I can make this decision and bring 2 people along with me, but I'm going to leave behind 600. That's not the right decision.
Yeah.
So those are the type things in which, those fundamentals, what type work ethic, what type, mental toughness, to be able to deal with making some type decisions, dealing with some of the things that's going to be appreciated, some of the things where people might not agree, but I'm having to make the decision I feel is best for our building, for our school to move forward. But can I handle that? So sometimes when you talk about being a coach and former athlete, those skills that you learn of being coachable, being tough, working hard, all of those things you say. Sometimes kids say in school, how am I going to use this? Or when am I going to use this in life? Why do I need to know this? It's not about what you're doing. It's how you're doing it and what you're learning about yourself along the way. Those things help make you become a better person, and so those are the things in which I feel are some of those traits that I've utilized in leadership, not only to help our school grow and have some success, but also help people be successful along the way.
Oh, that's good. That's good right there, because many times we hear in schools, doesn't matter, if you're in the classroom, or if you're leading a building, or if you're leading part of the building, you hear students say, when am I going to use this in real life? I heard that a lot in math class. In fact, I have students to this day tag me in when did we use the Pythagorean theorem? Yeah. So it's good to hear the actual application of learning character and how it helps students, adults, make decisions. Like, that's one of the skill sets we need, because you're making decisions on a daily basis, and it does have that ripple effect. Right? It impacts a lot of people, and the seat that you're sitting in is, I don't envy the seat, because at all. But it's one that has an impact that's not just felt during the present moment, but it impacts the future as well.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give an emerging leader about driving transformation in education?
Like for me, it's going to go back to what I initially started with. The initial advice is know who you are. For me, like I did my study when I did my doctoral research at Sanford on how a principal can take the data from a personality assessment, use that data of his faculty and staff, take that information to learn how to guide conversations to help people. But first off, I had to understand my own personality. And understand how I'm driven and how I'm wired and how it helps me be able to communicate with others. So first and foremost, for any advice for any future leader, someone that wants to drive a leadership, understand who you are, understand what makes you go, understand exactly how you are deal with how you're being communicated with. And then also understand that everybody's not going to communicate with you the way that you like. And everybody's not going to communicate with you to the way that agrees with you. So you're going to have to understand, I know this person's personality, that person's personality in my building. Everybody's can't talk to everybody the same way and get the same results. So
correct.
People aren't driven to be successful or be a better version of themselves if you're giving everybody the same conversation. But if you take the time to learn your people, understand your personnel, faculty, staff, even your students, there's a certain understanding of how you can drive conversations to help people be better and grow. And then that's the part of the things to where you build a culture to where people want to be in your building. They want to stay in your building. They want to be a part of what's going on because they feel appreciated, not because you speak to them, but they feel understood because of how you speak to them. So I think that's something that's very important that it took me some time to learn along the way, that had I known early on, it would have been beneficial for me. I was an assistant principal for 10 years before I moved into a principalship role. And so a lot of those things you learn along the way based on working with other leaders and seeing things. And you know how you are, even as a teacher somewhere,
right.
When I get a position, I'll do it this way. I might not do this. I might do that.
Right.
So they would kind of hone and put your stuff together to make it work. So, that's some of the advice I would give.
Absolutely. And I want to pause right here and tell you happy birthday.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah. I have that down in my notes. I was like, I saw that on your social media and I said, you know what? I got to make sure I started out by saying happy birthday. But hey, when it comes up, that's a part of leadership, is when it's time, right? When you get maybe you missed a moment, but you get another opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm aging.
I get it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the advice you gave emerging leaders, that's important because you need a mentor, you need a coach in your life to help you move forward instead of trying to be in this isolated place. Because when you go into isolation, try to lead, it's tough. Yeah, it's very tough. So, what is one thing about, educational leadership that is often misunderstood or overlooked?
I think something that could be considered something that's might be misunderstood or maybe overlooked would be the fact that, and if something I just continue to hone on because I'm such a believer in it, is that even as educational leaders, we're still people. Sometimes people don't see you as a person, they see you as a title. So sometimes they just see you because I am the principal, then that's who I am because of my title, not because I'm a person. There's still life in a person, even though that is my title as the principal. I serve and do the things I do because I'm led to do that. I'm called to do that, but I'm still a person. So once the title is removed, I can remove the title. How come you can't see me still as the same person? So sometimes I feel like that is something that's misunderstood, that you're elevated to be seen as a person of this high level only because of the title that's by your name or the front of your name or the initials behind your name. But then again, if we remove all of that, would you still see me as that same person of who I am? Does the title make who I am, or does who I am make who I am? And sometimes I feel that's overlooked because sometimes people also feel like in this space that once you reach this level, you just showed up as a doctor. You just showed up as the principal. No, boss. I had to start back. I did a bachelor's. I did a master's. I did an EDS. I coached. I taught. I was in the classroom. I clean the restrooms. I'll clean them today. I go out there and mop the floor tomorrow if I need to. But those, again, are those skills that helped you get to that point. And sometimes those things are overlooked. People just see you in a space, and when they meet you in that chapter in your life, they just think this is where you started. No, ma'am, let's go back to chapter 1. And then chapter 1, I had to build to become this.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think those things are overlooked, that they don't understand that we had a journey to go on to get to this place to where we are as well.
Oh, no, that's good. We may have to kind of let's kind of follow through with this one, because I sometimes people see you in your chapter 24 and they don't understand that there was an intro, there was a segue to where you are right there. So, what are some of those things you learned? Because I see that you have let me bring myself back on. I see you have a degree, bachelor's degree in English. Yeah. So and a math person and an ELA person, an English person coming on together. I think that's something to celebrate it within itself. But what are some of those things you learned to that 24th year? Because I really think that needs to be pointed out. I love what you developed there about that chapter 1. And of course,
Well, chapter 1, man, when you get started, I'm trying to teach English. I'm in the 5th year program trying to get a master's because I had an English degree. So when I was in college playing basketball at Faulkner in Montgomery, I was an English major because my plan was to go to law school. So it was a prerequisite to law school. Well, then when you fall in love with basketball and coaching, and that law school was what you wanted, but it wasn't the direction and path that was destined for you and the steps that are ordered for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then I began to teach class, work on a master's, also coach football, basketball, baseball, all those things all at one time when you're trying to build yourself and build a career. So what do you learn on those things? That, sometimes you look ahead and see people doing great things, and you see people are achieving things in year 9 and 10, and you're in year 2 and you want it now. Well, there's a process. So I had to understand and learn part of that process was that's not your time right now. They've worked to get to that point. You have to work to get to that point. Sometimes we show up in life today and we feel like we should be getting the same stuff as the people in year 12 and we're in year 2. It's like, hey, there's some things you got to learn, some things you have to grow to be. And I had to do that as far as just teaching, and I only taught 7 years. I was in the classroom 7 years, English teacher, and coached basketball, and then moved into administration just because I realized, just as a basketball coach and English teacher, I was only impacting the students I taught as well as the team I coached. There are other kids walking those hallways. I didn't even know who they were. So how can I broaden my impact? Well, let's look at administration. So you go into administration and you want a chance to broaden your impact, do some things to be able to help people, help kids, help schools grow, have more involvement on the leadership side of it. But then you get in that role as an assistant principal and you get so task driven because I'm over buses, over discipline, over the cafeteria, over textbooks. So now I'm caught up in my task and my responsibilities that I'm trying to get those done, that I'm handling them. But in the midst of handling them, I'm not connecting with people. I have not built any relationships because you're not a person of relationship to me at this time. You're just a duty for me that I'm dealing with. And so once I had to understand, okay, now here's an evolving of another part of the chapter is no, sir. They're not just duties. These are people. How does your duties impact people? Not how do people impact your duties? So you had to swap that. So, as I grew and became a principal in things, man, relationships and self-evaluation, self-characterization, those things are paramount for me as far as how I'm unpacking those things from chapter 1 to where I am now, chapter 24 in education, this being my 25th year.
So I don't know. Well, I know what it is. This word relationship, talking to You will be the 10th person that I've interviewed. And although the term relationship is not within the questions, that it is a resounding message that has come up. Relationships matter. And I'm glad that you colored in the picture for me, because I did, as going through your bio, reading through your bio, and I was like, okay, he spent this much time in the school. And then the next thing I see, well, he moved into administration. And love that you laid it out on the foresight that you had and the insight that you had, and what the insight that you gained from your experience, that if you're in chapter 2, embrace chapter 2, and don't try to grab chapter 10 or chapter 12, because you may not be ready for it. Like embracing that part of it and how it builds your character within you. I appreciate you expounding on that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we've talked about how, leadership can be misunderstood or overlooked. You've been recognized as the 2024 Alabama Principal of the Year. What strategies or what helped you to achieve that?
I tell you, we started something. We revived something here at Springville High School. We have what's called our Tiger Code. And our Tiger Code states, I will seek truth with integrity. I will live generously. I will give encouragement. I will show respect. I will have pride in myself, my school, and my community, because I'm a Tiger. And when I found that, that was written like 12, 13 years ago by one of our counselors who's retired, I just asked about it, and I knew about character and having core values and a capstone and those things. And I mean, I just kind of, took an AED and just revived and resuscitated the core values of Springville High School. But when I talk about character and being a good person and being the best version of yourself, we became a school that was on a mission to just really be good people. And I mean, it became who we were. We promoted character. We promoted, things of high character for kids. We were looking for ways to just help people embrace just being a good person. Not only just, and I was blessed that I was a principal at Springville Elementary before coming to Springville High School. So like right now in this building, everybody in my building, for the majority I had, my freshmen this year were second graders when I started in this community. So the relationships have been built over time, but we just went on a journey of, we're not going to worry about anything. We're not going to worry about the scores, the data. We're not going to worry about how we look. We're just going to focus on internally being good people, seeking truth, having those core values, truth, integrity, generosity, encouragement, and respect, and build who we are based on that. Are we living within our Tiger Code? Every day our kids hear 3 things at our school. At Springville High School, we're going to adhere to our Tiger Code. We will lock down academics, and as always, go Tigers. Because if there's a belief in who we are, and for me, I became the tone setter. I set the tone for that every day. Like every day I said it, and every day I tried to live it. I tried to model it. And then for us, as a school, the teachers say, well, what do we need to do? Because sometimes you have teachers saying, and I get it. I have this to do, that to do. I'm teaching math. Like, you're a math guy. So I'm having to teach pre-cal, AP stats. And you want me to stop and do a Tiger Code lesson? No, ma'am. No, sir. All I want you to do is live it. They should see us modeling being good character as adults. So I can take, this is your plate, but I'm not putting anything else on the plate. All I'm asking you to do is carry the plate of being a good person. All your schoolwork, the things you want to do, all the things you want to instruct, meeting the standards, the lessons you have prepared, those are fine. Do them however you need to do those to reach our kids and make sure that they're learning and we're growing academically. But in the process, in the midst of that, be a good person. Show how to be a good person, model being a good person to our kids. And for a teacher and a principal, I felt like that was a great approach, because what teacher can say, well, I don't want to be a good person. I don't want our kids to be good people. It's kind of hard to argue. All he's asking me to be is a good person. So when you ask about like, what are those strategies and things we use? Like when I went out and started sharing with people and trying to help and putting things on my social media, if you see my social media today, every time you see something, it's going to say hashtag Tiger Code.
Right. I did. Yeah.
Hashtag Tiger Code. Legit. And that's not for me to do that for other people and for people to think I'm trying to do that to show about our school. That's for me, because that's who I should be. I should be the leader and the catalyst driving that, setting the tone every day for Tiger Code. Like I'm standing here right now and I got my Tiger Code bracelets on. I wear them every day, because it's a reminder that this is who we say we want to be. And as the leader, this is how it should be done. And that was led to some people finding out my information, found out what we were doing at the school, and it gave me a chance to receive that recognition, which I was, honored to and blessed to receive.
Oh, absolutely. I can hear it. You can hear it in a person's in their voice. And this is the first time kind of hearing the voice, but you can hear it even in someone's writing and what they're doing. You hear it. Although it may not be verbal, but you feel that person's enthusiasm. You feel just this leader, like you feel a leader, like you feel that leader, like in our brief, messages, I just knew like, okay, it's something different going on here. Mm-hmm. It is. It's something different. And now to begin to take those moments where, we reached out through a DM or we had this pre-conference conversation. It's like now you're bridging them together and you're painting this picture to say, leadership, and this is always, when I think about leadership is for me, John Maxwell, leadership is influence, no more, no less. Mm-hmm. And how do you influence others to begin to live a different life than what they were living before they interacted with you? Mm-hmm. And that's the goal of the podcast. This is to be a hub of educational transformation and to have this conversation about the Tiger Code. You got it here. You got it where you're hearing it. You're seeing it. You're hearing it, and you're feeling it. Mm-hmm. And it's like he's still a coach.
Oh yeah. I told you in the pregame. I said, "Hey man, I'm gonna get fired up. I get excited. I'm sorry, but man, I mean, I love it.
Yeah. And that's the joy of it. When I think about what you've shared so far, it reminds me of a guest that I had on earlier, Thomas Adams Jr. out of in Mississippi. He's a principal here at Shirley Simmons, and it's like I'm hearing this leader direct a group of people. And he's also, well, let me tell you, he's a basketball guy. So I guess that's what it is. I made the connection. Okay, I had to talk it out. He's a basketball guy.
Yes, sir.
Well, I really in my heart want to continue this on, but I'm gonna be mindful of your time. Okay. When towards the end of our conversations, I usually do a 2-minute warning, and this is just you have the platform, and it doesn't necessarily mean if you want to take 2 minutes, fine, but it's just the football coach in me. It's a 2-minute warning. We're kind of just closing things out, and you got the floor. And at that point, after the 2-minute warning, I'll set you in the background, and I appreciate maybe a 2 to 3 minute conversation after the session, and that'll be it.
Okay, oh man. Well, I'll tell you, I could go on, 2 minutes. I can go on, for a period of time. One, I'm just elated at the opportunity to just share about what we do here at Springville High School and just the things that has blessed me to be the leader that I'm striving to be on a daily basis. What I would love to encourage everyone is we're in January, some of you in the educational space or wherever you are, you're coming out of a holiday break, find a moment that you've had, for me being a principal of the year and the celebration was an amazing moment. But when that moment passed, was I done doing the things that I was destined to do and striving to be? No. So I want to maintain the thoughts of that moment to help me carry on to continue to push to be better. So whatever happened first semester, good or bad, right or wrong, let's have a better second semester. Let's have a better 2025 than 2024. So I just want to encourage everyone out there, that's trying to drive a space of transformation in a school building, to maintain hope, stay positive in the things in which you're trying to do. Find those that believe in the things in which you're wanting to do, and then just lock in and push towards it. Show belief in it, lead it, and be that person. I was reading something preparing for this where it said, I saw where Peyton Manning, back when he got his rookie contract, it was like $48 million. And they said, well, what are you going to do? He said, earn it. I'm going to earn it. So I want to be the best leader that I can be for Springville High School, and I want to help as many schools in the country as I can to strive to transform to be a school of character. And so how am I going to do that? You became 2024 Principal of the Year. So what does that mean? It means nothing until I've shown and earned that right by continuing doing the things that I'm doing. The show doesn't stop at one point. The show is going to continue. The show must go on. And it needs to go on with you being the leaders that you're destined to be, and doing the things that the school needs you to do to help it be successful. And I appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to have a part 2. I'm just going to tell you that. I don't usually, I'm marking it down. I'm going to go ahead and say there's going to be a part 2. Yeah. There's going to be a part 2. So I'm going to drop you in the background. I'm going to close this out real quick. So ladies and gentlemen, I thank y'all for stopping by and hearing Dr. Moore. You can feel not just the enthusiasm. That's not the word. Enthusiasm is not the word. It's a transformational leader has a sound, and that sound is number one. When you heard him, it's not about the person. It's about leading others, and you heard that in our conversation today. There's going to be a part 2. I'm just going to go ahead and just put that down. When we're going to talk through it, it's going to be a part 2, because there's some more things we need to really develop. Because when you talk about character, it's not about just who people think you are. It's about who you are on the inside. And he definitely has brought out that thought, and we gotta smooth that out a little bit more. So thank you for stopping by and listening in. You definitely can reach out. I'll put the information at the end once you look at this video in the caption on how you maybe can reach out to Dr. Moore. He's at Springville High School in Alabama, 2024 Principal of the Year, but he's just a great guy. I can just tell you that. So thank you all for stopping by. This concludes our episode of 50 Educators from 50 States, Alabama edition. Dr. Gregory Moore. You all have a great